Hello and welcome to episode 76 of From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. First of all, I am so excited that this is episode 76. It is kind of bananas to me that I have come so far. Um, Podcasting is such an interesting thing because it it requires a lot. Um, and the fact that I've been able to keep that up and have been incredibly consistent with it has just kind of blown my mind. So as I've reflected on um, the past 75 episodes, it feels kind of wild to me. And the fact that we are almost to episode 100 and that will just be bananas. And it's really a testament of keeping going. Keep going on whatever it is that we're doing. It's just keep going, keep doing the things, and it eventually adds up. Wild, right? So today I actually don't want to talk about perseverance and persistence in that respect. Today I have some thoughts and ideas for you in regards to people being unkind. Now, I'm kind of a sensitive soul. I feel things deeply. I feel gratitude very deeply, and I'm kind. I grew up in Texas, which is technically the South, although not everybody would agree with that situation or statement, I guess. Um, and as much as I say y'all, I also say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. And I believe that manners are incredibly important. The girls I are bombarded with manners whenever they receive something, whenever something kind is done for them, and teaching them to hold the door open for people, to smile, to say thank you, to really acknowledge what people do around us. That's really something that I try to ingrain in them as in teaching them and also in modeling for them and just expressing gratitude for all the people that are around us that do so much for us, whether it's, a grocery store clerk or the school nurse or somebody that's more involved in them on a daily basis, their teachers or what have you. So I get really focused on kindness and really focused on manners and gratitude, that sometimes when people are just rude or unkind, it really takes me aback, and it really can impact me if I'm not careful. And so I wanted to offer up some thoughts and perspective shifts for you when you deal with people that are just unkind and you're just kind of like, okay, I was having a great day and then you had to go and do that or say that or whatever, and now I don't feel great. And you don't want to be dragged down by their unkindness and their negativity. You don't want that, and you don't have to take it. The first thing I want to offer to you is an idea that was presented to me by one of my mentors, and she was talking about how if you are walking around town, I think she used a different analogy, but same idea. If you're walking around town and you step on a piece of trash and it happens to stick to your shoe, you'll reach down and pick it up and throw it away, or you won't let that stay attached to you. I mean, it's trash. It doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. I'm assuming in this scenario, it's not your trash. You didn't leave it there. It doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. You don't allow it to stick to you. You take it off of your shoe and you throw it away, or maybe we just leave it there. But in the best case scenario, you would throw it away. But the point is that even though you happened upon trash and it stuck to you, it doesn't have to remain there. And when people are unkind, that's that piece of trash and it's sticking to you, and you don't have to let it remain there. You can take it off and discard it. It's not yours. It doesn't have to remain on you. There have been a bunch of situations in my life where I have just been the recipient of so much unkindness that in the middle of the day, I will take a shower and literally scrub my skin from all of this unkindness, all of this all of these feelings that somebody else has put onto me, because it's not mine. I don't need it. Obviously, their behavior isn't a real thing on my skin, but the act of taking a shower and of cleaning everything off physically helps me mentally remove it from me so that it's no longer impacting me. It's no longer covering my skin. And sometimes, depending on the level of unkindness, sometimes it takes a couple of days to get every last bit off. The important thing to notice here, though, is that it's not yours. People being unkind, whether they're talking about, your behavior or not, they're just doing it in an unkind manner. You can make adjustments to your behavior. You can make adjustments to, what you're doing or what you've done without taking on all the negativity and unkindness of others. So that is one perspective shift I would like to give to you, is next time somebody is unkind to you, think of it like a piece of trash. You've accidentally stepped on it. It stuck to your shoe. Just discard it. It's not yours. And maybe if it's a little bit different and it's more like you just walked through a ginormous spider web and it is all over you, take the time to shower and wash it off. And as you're washing your body, think about all of that negativity and all of that unkindness washing off of you, because again, it's not yours. Somebody may have laid a trap for you and you walked right into it. You don't have to keep it. You don't. That becomes a choice. Their unkindness is their choice. And yes, you have that initial reaction of like, well, now I feel like crap because you just treated me this way. But continuing to feel that way is a choice. The initial reaction isn't always a conscious thought. It's a reaction. It's a habit most of the time. But continuing down that path, allowing it to affect the rest of your day, your week, whatever, then it becomes a choice. Then you're allowing it to stay. You're like, yeah, I just walked through a whole sewer system full of crap, and I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm just going to allow it to stink all around me, and I'm not going to do anything about it. So think about that. The other thing I want you to think about is that sometimes when people are unkind, it's not even about you. It's not. There's something else going on in their life. There's some sort of thought process, perspective, something going on in their little world that has kind of, I don't want to say caused, because there was a choice there too, but has led them to behave in an unkind manner. And you are the recipient of it. Lucky you. And if something was different in their world, they may have behaved differently. But in this situation, they were unkind and it landed on you. But it's not even about you. That's the second takeaway I want you to take from this, is that sometimes when people are unkind, it's not even about you. There's something going on in their world, in their life, in their current experience that is leading them to behave that way, and you just walked in on it. I remember specifically one time my friend was telling me about, this situation. She walked in to talk to her boss, and she was expecting just a normal interaction, and he just kind of blew up on her, went off the charts, and she was just taken aback, like, oh my word, like what just happened? And she is very similar to me, very sensitive and very like, that was undeserved, and uh, what just happened here? And as she was telling me that story, I instantly, because I am, the third person, I'm so far removed from it, I could instantly tell her, I was like, that wasn't even about you. Something else was going on, and you were the straw that broke the camel's back. You just happened to come in with, an issue or something to talk about, and he was already done. He was already not in a place where he could deal with that. So he overreacted because it wasn't even about you. And those two perspective shifts, I feel like, can really help you disassociate from whatever unkindness people put onto you, whatever unkindness you encounter. If you can recognize that it's not yours, you don't have to keep it, and it's not about you, or it could be both, or it could be either. But the point is that it doesn't have to be something you continue to carry. Continuing to carry it is a choice. And sometimes that's really hard, because you're just like, well, they were so unkind, and now I don't know how to lift myself out of it. And this just happened to me very recently. And I felt that way. I was like, I have things I have to do today. And now, because of this interaction, I don't want to. I just want to lay in bed and play the Switch and zone out and not do all these other things and not deal with anything else, because that hurt. And as I was thinking about that, I was like, I have to do these things. And then it dawned on me, I was like, you know what? That probably wasn't even about me. It probably wasn't even about me. And do you know how freeing that was? It was extremely freeing. And maybe it was about me. Maybe it was. But is that helpful? Is their unkindness helpful? Because you don't really get someone to change their behavior by being unkind. That's not the way you do it. So by being, even including being unkind to yourself, and that would be a whole nother episode, a whole nother topic about dealing with being unkind to yourself, because that is a rampant problem. And of course, in that situation, you're like, well, of course it's about me. I'm being unkind to me. It's definitely about me. Sure, those beliefs came from somewhere, though. No child, when they are born, believes that they deserve unkindness. That is something that we learn somewhere along the way. It's something that we learn we are not good enough, or we deserve to be talked to poorly. We learn those things. We are taught those things. And you can change that. You can change what you have learned. You can change what you are taught. And that's a whole different topic. Anyways, to wrap up for today, people are unkind sometimes. They can be rude. It's unfortunate. It's part of it. You don't have to keep it. And I would encourage you to not keep it. And as you go through this process of discarding the unkind things that people put onto you, give yourself some grace. I used to, this is like so true. I wish Jake was here that he could like second witness this. But I used to face an unkind situation, and then it would have me down for days. I would be mopey about this for days. And I would just be like, I know, I'm just this is just affecting me for days. That time frame, as I started to work on myself, started to work on perspective shifts, started to work on my mindset, that time frame of being affected by people's unkindness has gradually shortened. And I remember specifically one time after I had been working on myself and all of this for probably, I don't know, pretty diligently for over a year and a half, I faced a really unkind situation. And it was the middle of the day. I took a bath and Jake was home at that day. On that day, I was like, I'm going to take a bath and just like wash all of this away and just like kind of get into a Zen state. And I came out of that bath feeling like a new person. It had just happened earlier that day, really just like a bath before. And Jake was like, this is remarkable that you are back to your happy, fun-loving self after just a bath, when previously you would be down for days. And now, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 5 minutes, depends on the level of unkindness, right? But the point is that it's like a muscle. The more you try it, the more you use it, the more you make an effort towards discarding the unkind things that people put on you, the easier it will get, the faster you'll get at it, and the less those things will affect you. And at some point, hopefully, the majority of unkind things that people put on me will just not even affect me. It'll just like water on a bird's back, right? Just roll right off. That is the goal. And I'm not quite there yet with everything. Some things, it just, whatever. But there's always something to work towards. So I hope that you remember that you are good inside. You are a great person on the inside, and people's unkindness doesn't have to belong to you. You don't have to keep that. I hope that these two ideas and two perspective shifts help you as you discard those things and continue on with your glorious, happy self. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. Until next time. Bye for now.